Today we're continuing our autumn theme with a complete semi-abstract painting. We'll create a delicate layered wash of glowing gold and russet browns, then add seed heads and autumn leaves in ink for contrast. If you've been following along with my recent videos, you'll be ready to take this next step. A real painting that's simple, effective and perfect to give as a small framed gift or to turn into a greetings card. So let's dive in. Hi everyone, Diane here. Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to do a sort of mini kind of landscapey thing which has an autumn tinge. So I'm using my Meeden watercolor paper in a block, 10 by 7 size this time. And I'll probably put some washi tape around the outside to protect the edges, just in case I want it to have a nice neat edge. Not quite sure yet exactly what is going to happen, but I'm going to reduce the height of it a little bit, make it a little bit less rectangular by putting the full width and only half of the width on the sides, the full width on the top and the bottom, so like that. That's okay. And I'm going to be using these are Michael Harding paints, but any paints will do. We have here an Indian red, this is burnt sienna, autumn tint, I think, or autumn mood or something like that, and a darker colour like burnt umber, something like that. This, I think, is quinacridone gold. This is dark blue, and this is phthalo blue. So just any kinds of reds and blues and things that you happen to have around will do for this. And I'm going to use my size 4 Meeden brush here, which is a quill brush because it has this plastic around the hairs and the shaft there to make it hold together. Nice big pot of water here, so I'll wet my brush and I'm going to put some water on about roughly the left-hand side, roughly. So we'll just wet this area here. I'm not being too precise about it, doesn't matter. And then onto there we will put some autumn colours. And I'll start with quinacridone gold and just smoosh it on. It's funny how it goes quite yellow when it's been diluted down quite a lot. And then we'll pick up some brown, burnt sienna really, that's basically what it is. And we just jump around a little bit and do something like this. And just drag that out down the bottom a bit. Drag it out around the sides a bit. Just water on the brush there, just to make the whole thing kind of drift away. And then I'm going to add some really dark purple. It's a kind of purple colour. I'm just going to put some of that in a few places, and it will kind of go, hopefully it won't spread too much, but it will sort of just add some contrasting browns, hopefully. We might pick up a little bit of blue. And then there's several things you can do here. You can splash water into it to give texture, like this. To get rid of those spidery lines, you can move it around like that. And then once you've got it so that you like it, which I think is probably good enough like that, maybe I'll just put a little bit more orange in here. That is to say, burnt sienna. And in here, just to make it a bit darker. But whatever you fancy doing, just a kind of smushy mess. A little bit more water here, perhaps. And you could start splashing some of your drops out into the remaining white area. Not too much though at this point, because we're going to finish up with lots of that kind of thing. So now I'm going to put the hairdryer on it. Okay, so there we are. That's what we have now. And just just going to dry that. I put some, whoops. Oh well, we'll turn that into something interesting. No, what I'll do is I'll put some more brown on there and dry that. Notice how it's lightened up a lot as it's been dried. So it's often in this particular kind of situation, which happens always, what you want to do then is add some more colour, a second layer on top of what you've already put in. So that's some more burnt sienna and some more quinacridone gold, and then some more water around the outside edges to make it smooth out. And then perhaps a little bit more blue in here. And I hope that when that's dry, it will be a bit brighter. But you can't do it all in one layer. That is part of the problem. You can't really do it all in one layer. You have to go into it twice. Okay, so that looks better, but it will dry again a little lighter, but we'll dry it again. Now that's not completely dry, but nearly. And I'm going to pick up my Artex acrylic marker, which I use quite a lot, you will remember, and I'm going to put some dots into the dark area. This is just acrylic, I presume it's acrylic paint, not ink, I don't really know, but we'll just put some dots in there to lighten that up a bit. And maybe we will, we'll start with that. And what I'm going to do is just put some sort of skeletons of plant-like things on here, and we'll see how that goes. Now, I just need to test that. So, yeah, well, while I'm waiting for that to dry a bit better, we'll put a little bit more. You see how it's nice autumn colours anyway. I'll put some more of the gold, quinacridone gold down here. And perhaps we'll sort of, going to miss that bit because that's quite nice the way it is. And I know that we're using quite a lot of hairdryer today. Just put some more dots up here. These are a little bit heavier. And where they fall into the wet, they'll be bigger and splashier. Then you can put some more or less water ones on there. Now I'm going to dry it again. Okay, so now I've pushed the paint out of the way. I will put the names of the colours in the description below, as always. And now here, this is a big fat Pitt artist pen. It's a brush pen. It's got a big brush thing. And I'm just going to put in the place where I'm going to put my first plant skeleton, if you like. And then I've got here a craft, this is a Craft Mo one, but you can get these on Amazon very easily and very cheaply. This is a 0.5. And the reason I'm using that one is because it happened to be the one I picked up first. Now I'm just going to have a lot of fun here. I like doing this. And I'm just putting basically parallel lines, or more or less parallel lines, coming out from the center of this plant to make it all nice and skeletal. And we'll just drag that down a little bit. And then we will bring the stalk, just scritchy scratchy. Sorry if you don't like the sound of that. We can put a leaf here if we want. Like that. And then we go back to our big brush and we're going to put lovely seed heads on top here. And if you don't enjoy doing that, I don't know. I do anyway. So there we are. And perhaps I might even put a few white ones up here to link with those. Yes, why not? So we're going to do it again. exciting, isn't it? We can do it again down here. So that goes nicely over that bit where I blobbed out the water that was sitting there prematurely, because it would have dried and been fine, but I was just kind of hurrying it too much, you know how it is. Let me take this one down here like that. Okay, and then perhaps a few more, again, couple of very little white ones, and then a few down here. Okay, and then I'm going to take a different pen. I want one that's going to go up here, but it's got to have plenty of ink in it. What about a brown one? Let's see how that goes. Okay, and then I will go over it again. Line. I quite like the idea of doing my lines sort of double like that, because it is autumn after all. And this time of year, everything's kind of drying out a lot, isn't it? So, yeah. Now what I want is a brown brush. That will do. And then we're going to do, don't want to put my hand on that. I always do, don't I? This is a Pitt artist pen brush. This is the peaceful bit where you just relax and just do lots of little leaves. You could do them in black, but I think I quite like them in brown here. My splashes are still a bit wet. That's quite a nice thing, actually, because it means that some of them will go blurry. Some of your little leaves, you can leave them partially empty. So just, like that. Others you'll want to fill in completely, and you can do that easily with this brush pen. You can, of course, do it with just an ordinary pen, but it'll take longer. You could fill in some of the bits of the stalk if you want. Right. I'll stop there for the minute. Might put a little bit of brown in these leaves here since I think of it. Okay. And then I'm going to put in some white. I did a practice one earlier on, which was this one, and I did the white with this pen, but I think I might use an ordinary gel marker, gel pen, you know, this one. I'll see how this goes, actually. Not quite sure exactly how I'm going to do this. I think I might bring something over here in the background. Something like this. Okay, and then maybe we could have something coming up here. Maybe we'll put one coming down from the top. And perhaps we need something else coming up here. Okay, and perhaps you know that we like our spirals, like this kind of a sort of signature mark. Just put a few of those in. You could carry on and do a lot more with this if you wanted to. For example, we might want to put, we could put a bit more of the brown in over here. So there we are, looking good. And I'm not going to do much more now. I think that's probably pretty good. Maybe I'll put a little bit of white in here just to lighten that up a little bit. But I'm going to do a bit more spray. I wanted to show you this brush, which is basically an oil painting brush, and it does do quite nice splashes of spray. I'm going to practice it first of all, though, on here. And what you do is you use it on its side like that, and then you just do that. Okay, so we'll try that here. So we've got some more splashes, maybe one or two down here as well. You do have to say a quick prayer when you do that to make sure that it works out okay. Yeah, so I'm going to leave it like that. We could put more whites, we could put gold. I haven't put any gold on at all today. So we'll just take the border off and see what we think. I don't think that's turned out too badly. It's not quite dry yet, but it looks nice and warm, doesn't it? yes, I think I quite like the contrast of the very warm area and the quite light area on the left-hand side. So there we are. That's today's effort at capturing the spirit of autumn. Don't forget to check the description below for all the information about things that I used. And don't forget to visit Patreon and see whether you'd like to become a member over there, because we're always happy to see new people arriving and they seem to enjoy. Oh yes, and I should just say before I go, if you enjoyed this video and you want to watch another similar one, if you look on the screen as we get to the end here, you'll see 2 recommendations. On the right hand side, the one on the top is YouTube's recommendation, the one below is our recommendation. So if you click on that, you'll be able to go and have a look at another video treating the autumn theme in a slightly different way. We've got plenty of autumn paintings. Over the last 5 years, I've done quite a lot. This is a new style, really, for me. And if you want something more traditional, you'll find plenty of them too if you go and have a look. Okay, then, so I will let you go. Here's the one I did before I did this one. This was my practice one. And like I always say, it's always a good idea to try things out beforehand so that you can see where it went wrong. This is a big improvement on that because I used quinacridone gold, which is my favourite colour for autumn. And why not? See what a difference it made. So I'll say bye-bye for now, everybody. Take care, look after yourselves, and don't forget to do lots of painting. I'll see you soon. Bye now. Bye-bye.